Right, very good morning, or should I say afternoon to you. It's 1 minute past midday. It's Tuesday, the 30th of April, 2024, and it's Steve here from Weather Focus, taking a look at the weather for the next week and then taking a little look at the longer term trends. Well, you'd think I'd be balmy if I was to tell you that April is going to finish well above average. Well, that is the that is the case. April is finishing or very close to 9.5 at the moment, 1.6 degrees above the long-term average. Certainly doesn't feel that way. Certainly since mid-April, temperatures have been generally really quite cool. There's been frosts, but yeah, start of the month was exceptionally mild, and the cooler second half of the month hasn't been enough to overcome that very positive early anomaly. Right, it has been cool, but temperatures are now starting to pick up. These are the current top of the hot, 17 degrees at Northolt, London Heathrow Airport, Cambridge, Norwich Weather Centre, Humberside and Holbeach, all at 63 degrees Fahrenheit, and loads of other stations, particularly down across the southeast, are now 16 degrees and above, and those temperatures will rise a little bit further over the course of the next few hours. Right, what's going on? What's starting to bring in this less cold, or should I say warmer air? Well, you've got low pressure down to the southwest. We've lost the northerlies. We're starting to drop a bit of a southerly, but look across the near continent. There's a warm front there. That's going to be pushing in throughout the course of the next couple of days to turn things warmer, more humid, and also, yes, the risk of some thundery weather. So, yeah, lots to keep an eye on over the course of the next few days. Right, the warmer anomalies are already being picked up at the moment. This is the situation currently. Some very warm anomalies now moving across Germany, across many parts of Poland, up towards Sweden and eastern parts of Belgium, whereas it's still rather cool across the UK. But as I mentioned, there is some slightly warmer air already starting to get into the mix across the UK. And then if we just run this facts chart forward through to tomorrow, well, there's that warm front starting to bring in the muggier air, the more humid air, quite a lot of cloud. And as you will see, there is a lot of rain still in the mix. So yet small mercies. We've lost the rather cold and dryish conditions in favour of something warmer, muggier, but also wetter. Right, we'll take a look at the temperatures. So as you can see, warmer air is starting to filter in, and for the next couple of days, things will start to turn warm. So these are your maximum temperatures projected by the ECM tomorrow. So notice one or two places, 21, 22 degrees across the southeast, but also up towards the sort of the borders, those sorts of areas. Glasgow tomorrow, you could be seeing temperatures of 17 and 18. And then that warming trend is picked up too on Thursday. Once again, the warmest air down across East Anglia, 21, 22, 23. But many parts of northern Britain are going to be up close to 20 degrees away from that east coast. And I think probably places like Stranraer, 20 degrees are going to be on offer for you guys, and also up towards the Western Isles. Temperatures doing quite well over the course of Thursday. But what will happen is we will start to draw in increasingly moisture-laden easterly breezes through Friday, and that warmth would by then be restricted to the far west of Scotland and the Western Isles. And this can be seen on the facts chart. This is Thursday. Those easterly winds are starting to come in, moisture-laden, off the North Sea, and then by Saturday, well, there you go. We've cut off the warmth from the continent. There's still rather a lot of frontal activity, rain and showers. But as I've mentioned, temperature trends are on the up. And then throughout the course of the weekend, the winds die out, becomes quite calm, becomes quite muggy. Still plenty of rain or showers around. Right, let's play out the situation now. This is from the ECM this morning, and we're going to take a look at the projected rainfall sequence. So moment. We've got a lot of cloud across Ireland and the western parts of the UK, particularly down towards the southwest and southwest parts of Wales. Some really quite heavy rain at the moment. There's one or two showers have broken out further east, but to all intents and purposes, today is a mainly dry day away from those areas. Throughout the course of the evening, we run the risk of a few more showers coming into the far southeast for a time. Fragmenting band of rain across the southwest of the UK, but again, mainly dry for most. Right, tomorrow what starts to happen is that low pressure out towards the Atlantic starts to push slightly further west. It retrogresses. We start to draw in this muggier, more humid air from the southeast, and what will tend to happen throughout the course of the day is once again showers will develop more widely tomorrow through the central spine of the country, up towards the Pennines, up towards southwest of Scotland. But of note also, it's quite heavy, persistent, and possibly thundery rain developing down in the south. Right, look down towards the far southeast of the screen. This is something that I'm keeping a very close eye on. If you're on Facebook and you want to become a member of the Kent Weather Premium Gang, please do, because we're going to be tracking this very closely over the course of the next day or so. Chance of some quite intense thunderstorms pushing into the southeast of the UK tomorrow evening, and that's in addition to some really quite heavy and possibly thundery rain that will by then be sitting across many southwestern parts of England, Wales, parts of Eastern Ireland as well. So lots to keep an eye on tomorrow as this area of low pressure starts to wind itself up, and this is what we find on Thursday. We've got this easterly air coming in off the continent, or should say off the North Sea, moisture laden, quite a lot of low cloud. We've got the legacy of the overnight rain and thunderstorms very slowly clearing the southwest, but I think there's probably going to be a weather warning out for this. It's quite heavy, persistent rain over a good number of hours does pose the risk of flooding. So again, something to keep an eye on. Thursday, a very unsettled day, muggy, humid, thundery rain again across many Midland parts of the Midlands, parts of Ireland. Further north, mainly dry. Warm, as we've already mentioned, to the west of Scotland and some of those western parts of Britain. Rather a lot of low cloud and possibly some drizzle coming onto those eastern coasts. Push this forward through to Friday. Not much changes, does it? Just the risk of some more heavy thundery showers, possibly pushing into the east of Scotland on Friday. More persistent cloud and rain across that central spine of England, going through Ireland as well. And then really, again, not much changes throughout the course of the day. That rain once again sits over the places where there's already been a lot of rain. So yeah, the risk of flooding does remain. Still the risk of some thunderstorms and some really quite high rainfall totals in some northern parts of Britain. Lots to keep an eye on. Lots of warnings will be issued, no doubt. Throughout the course of the weekend, the area of low pressure starts to transfer itself a little bit further towards the northwest of the UK. As I've mentioned, a bit of a flabby old weekend. There's going to be plenty of bright weather. There will be some warm, sunny spells, but there will also be the risk of showers at times. So yeah, unsettled, I think, is the buzzword this morning. We just run this forward throughout the course of Monday and Tuesday next week. Well, lots of blue, lots of rain, lots of showers at times, and once again, lots of low pressure still on the scene. Just some signs that as we get towards the middle to the latter half of next week, high pressure starts to develop down towards the southwest of the UK. Low pressure starts to transfer itself over towards Scandinavia. But all that does is it cools things down, it dries things up potentially, but once again, we still run the risk of those afternoon showers, a pattern that we have seen quite a lot in the last week or so. So there's really nothing in terms of prolonged, settled, summery weather on offer at the moment. If we just, before we close it out, take a look at the 2 metre trends for London over the course of the next couple of weeks. Well, there you see the warming trend that carries on through the course of the next couple of days, as we've seen temperatures could get close to 20 degrees. After that dip over the course of the weekend, temperatures do slowly recover. But once again, there is rather a lot of uncertainty. And if we just put the rainfall spikes on, well, there you go. You see a big signal for a lot of rain, first, second, third of the month, drying up from the 4th to the 6th, but more potentially heavy rain the early part of next week, middle part of next week, before things start to potentially dry up from around about the 11th of May. So it's just something to keep an eye on. Go north to Manchester. It's a wet signal there in Manchester. Certainly again around that 2nd, the 4th and the 8th, with some slightly drier weather in between. go north to Inverness. Quite a wet signal, relatively dry for the first few days as we've seen with that high pressure nearby. But yeah, once again, as we get towards the weekend into the early part of next week, that rainfall signal returns. Your temperature trends for Inverness are as such, so holding fairly consistent, around average, perhaps rather warmer for the middle part of next week. And if we come south to Manchester, your trends as well, as we've seen, rather warm for the next few days, warming up, cooling off, and then a little bit of uncertainty. But I think temperatures holding generally around average. So that's it in summary, I'm afraid. Suffice to say, it will become warmer over the course of the next few days, but there is the risk of an awful lot of rain between now and the weekend. Perhaps some respite for a time, but low pressure never too far away. But the one good thing I can offer is that we seem to finally have lost the risk of those overnight frosts. I'll be back again on Friday, taking a look at the situation then. But in the meantime, have a nice remainder of the week. Look after yourselves and ciao for now.